In this video, we are going to discuss about what exactly is Agentic AI. In case you are an absolute beginner and you have no idea about Agentic AI, this video is for you. Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. This is the next video in the AI series, and today we are going to discuss about Agentic AI. My name is Mukeshkala. I am a 4 times UiPath most valuable professional, certified solution architect and an advanced RPA developer, and I am also a LinkedIn top voice. I have shared my LinkedIn details on the page. Feel free to send me a connection request and I would be happy to be part of your network. Also, we have a small WhatsApp community. You can just scan this QR and join the WhatsApp community. In case you have any questions, any doubts while doing the automation, or you have any problem, you can just post in the group and there are people who are always ready to help you. Also, whenever there is a new video which is getting uploaded, you get a direct notification on your mobile device. And lastly, in case you are coming to the channel for the first time and haven't already subscribed, please consider subscribing to the channel to get the next videos in the Agentic AI series. Having said that, let's get started. Okay, so this is going to be the agenda for today's video. We are going to discuss about what exactly is Agentic AI. Don't worry if you are an absolute beginner. I'll make sure that at the end of the video, you will have the concept clear, right? We are going to define the Agentic AI. What are its characteristics? We are also going to discuss some of the examples as we speak through the videos. And lastly, I'm going to show you a quick demonstration of something which is called UiPath Autopilot for everyone. Okay, so this will be our agenda for today. Okay, so let's start with a simple example which all of us can relate to, right? Forget about the Agentic AI for a moment. Okay, I'm going to put an image on the screen. What do you see, right? So there is a kid in the picture who is trying to play with his car. Okay, so there is a manual car where actually it is depending on the human efforts, right? Same like this. If I have to move this car, I have to manually push this. If I have to move it towards the left or the right, I have to actually move it like this kid is moving in the picture, right? So basically there is no automation, there is nothing. This is just a simple car, and to move anything or to do anything, I have to put my manual efforts. Okay, now the example is a manual car pushing it around with the hands. If the car gets stuck somewhere, the child has to physically move it from the obstacle. The car cannot do anything on its own, right? So what are the characteristics from this example? If you will see here, this is entirely dependent on the user movement. If I don't push this, if I just keep it here, it's going to stay here, right? There is no automation. Every action is manual. If the child does not push it, the car is doing nothing. In the context of automation, the manual car represents the manual task where there is no automation at all. Everything is done by human as their task, right? So I'm going to office, I am reading my emails, I'm working on my PDFs, I'm working on my files. Everything is manual. There is no automation, nothing, right? Example of a manual car, right? So till this point, this kid is only having a manual car. Okay, just stick to the story and you will understand agentic. Okay, next, someday, now the kid understand that yes, there is a problem, right? Every time I have to move this car, I have to actually move it, right? So there should be a better way. What happens is the kid actually gets something which is called a remote control car. You can relate this something to RPA, which is the robotic process automation, where actually what happens is now the kid has got a remote control. Now, if you have to move the car forward, you have to press the forward button. If you want to move it backward, you press the backward button. There are certain controls in this remote which the kid now can use and move the car here and there. Now, the child does not need to physically push the car anymore. It is the remote which is doing the task for the kid, right? So, this is what means that you have now automated your task, right? You have a lot of emails, you had files, you had to do a lot of mundane repetitive stuff. You implemented something which is called robotic process automation, which we have done a lot of videos on this channel, and I believe you are RPA developer, so you understand that we have done some sort of automation. Okay, so maybe the business user were working on an Excel and they just created a lot of macros around it, right? So they automated it. Now, what are the characteristics? The car follows the command via the remote. It performs the repetitive actions, but it cannot think or adapt. What does it mean? So for example, if I have the remote control car, right, I am moving it forward and suddenly there is an obstacle which is coming in front of the car cannot understand, right? I as a person have to drive the car back from the obstacle using this remote and then change the direction. That's what is mentioned on the slide. If the obstacle appear, the child must manually steer around the obstacle using the remote. So though it is automated, yes, we have RPA, we have everything, but whenever there is an obstacle which is coming, the car is not able to take its own decision, right? Because it does not have that ability, right? And as a human user or as a child, you only have this remote control where you can do a certain set of actions. Now, in the context of automation, the remote control car represents the robotic process automation, which entirely depends on the pre-program instructions. You automate the robot, you automate the process, you define the steps, and the robot follows the instruction. At any point of time, if there are new changes or if there is any obstruction or there is any error, you again as a human has to go and you have to solve that problem, right? So that was the second step, which was called RPA, and I hope you guys are able to relate with the car use case. Okay, now what happens is the third stage. There is a car the kid gets from the market, and that car is autonomous car. So what does it mean? Wherever there is an obstruction, the autonomous car is intelligent enough to understand that yes, I have this obstacle, I have to cross it. So now this child has something which is called autonomous car. The car has cameras, the car has sensors, it has some intelligence which is built inside that car. Now you can just tell the car that okay, drive to the other side of the room. Okay, you can just instruct to the car that okay, drive forward, drive backward, and it understands the instruction and it follows it. So basically, because the car has sensors, camera, it understands the environment, it can perceives the environment, and that is an important characteristics, right? It understands the surrounding, it understands that okay, there is a door, there is a obstacle, there is another toy in front of me, so I need to take the left, right, or take the right. Now based on the obstacle, it actually automatically decide that what should I take. Should I take a left, should I take a back, should I take a right, or what should I do, right? It acts by driving itself, adjusts the route in the real time, and it decides automatically, right? So this was a autonomous car which the kid has bought. Now if you see the characteristics of this new car, the car works independently based on its environment. Today, if I take this car from my home and I take it to the park and I just tell the car, or using my remote I say just go forward, and if there is an obstacle, it understands that yes, there is an obstacle, and it takes the left, it takes the right. It adapts to the changes and solve the problem without you instructing it to go forward and go backward, right? Which was the case in your RPA or in the remote control car. It is goal oriented. What do I mean by that? If the path is blocked, it recalculates and then it again start moving. right? So this autonomous car is an example of agentic AI. Now in the context of automations, you can see that the autonomous car represent the agentic AI. Agentic AI is something that can perceive, plan and act autonomously. I hope you guys understand these three terms because this is going to be the foundations, right? So AI agents can perceive, they can plan and they can act autonomously, making it capable to handle the dynamic scenarios. Now to run the automation, whenever there is a failure, wherever there is a new business requirement, there is a slight change, the agents are able to adjust according to the environment. Example is an agentic AI built in a business system that handles the consumer complaints by analyzing the email, deciding the best response, and then based on that what next action I have to take. Without much guidance, it can do all those things, right? So basically, in simple terms, agentic AI can perceive, it can plan and it can act. Okay, so I hope you understand the example by the car, and now let's move towards the next step of it. Okay, so what are the takeaways from this example? So your manual car was entirely human driven. There was no automation at all. Everything was dependent on human and there is no automation. These are all the mundane and the repetitive tasks which the human is today is doing without any RPA or without any automation. Okay. The next step was, as soon as you automate the mundane and the repetitive task with the help of RPA, UiPath, right? We have a lot of videos on this channel. You guys understand that what is RPA, right? Where mundane repetitive task, where my mundane and repetitive tasks are automated with the help of this technology, right? But it has an action. This action has to be predefined. You have to teach the robot that in this scenario do this, in that scenario do that, and whenever something different is happening, it is just waiting for the human instruction or it simply gets into an error, right? Then came the third one, the autonomous car agentic AI, fully independent, capable of perceiving, planning and working without the human intervention, without constant human intervention. Somewhere you might also require the human intervention in the agentic AI as well. Okay, now let me give you one different example which will help you to understand the concept, and when I go to the theory you would have the background clear, right? I call this example as who will fetch the ball. Okay, there is a second picture on the screen. There are a lot of small kids who are playing football and they are playing in the ground, right? Now when you are playing, somebody just hits the football and it go into the bushes or it goes into the forest, right? Now the question is, who is going to fetch the ball? Now as a team of kids or as a group of students, right, you might have created some rules that okay, if I am actually pushing the ball to the bushes, I am the one who is going to take the ball, or it might be something the person who is near to that place is going to pick the ball. So basically, as a group of students or as a company, you have created some rules to tackle that thing, right? But again, how can I actually put agentic in this situation? So what happens is, all the kids get something which is called a robot, right? It is a physical robot. Let's name the robot as Scout. Okay, so instead of now, whenever there is something which is happening, Scout is there to help you, and Scout is an example of agentic AI. Now let's see how exactly Scout will work. First, understanding, which means that agent can understand, right? Scout notices that okay, people are playing, they are playing football, the match is going well and good, and suddenly Scout notices a change, that the ball is missing from the field, it is nowhere seen around. So that means agent can understand their requirements, agent can understand the surrounding, it can monitor the events, right? You can think of use cases now, right? It can monitor the events. Then next, it plans, it thinks okay, now the ball is in the bushes, I need to go around the bench and then carefully pick it up. If Scout is maybe sitting on the bench, then the planning would be that I'll get up from the bench, I will move to the bushes, I'll find the ball, and then I'll return it back to the field. So that means that agents can do it planning also, right? It thinks, okay, the ball is not there, let me go, let me take this route. It will think, it will plan, and then the next step, it will take the action. Now it's not only restricted, agents are restricted to understand, to plan, but they can also take the action. In this scenario, the action would be that it will roll over, avoid the obstacle like a puddle, rock, grabs the ball and bring it back to you, right? So that means that depending on the situation, depending on the, I would say, environment, depending on the what situation your automation, your program, your project is, agents can understand, plan and take actions on it. The action could be simple: write an email, raise an alert, create a ticket in the service now, raise a Jira, right? So all of these things can be done by agentic AI, right? Now if you see here, you didn't tell Scout to do these things step by step, right? Scout automatically understood that yes, something is happening and it executed. Or it could be the other way around, where you just simply had said that Scout, the ball is gone. Or you just simply say that Scout, bring the ball. Scout, pass me the ball. Scout, bring the ball. Scout, the ball is missing. You could say anything in any language and Scout understand that you are referring to the same action, that the ball is missing from the field and I as an agent have to understand, plan and action on this requirement. Okay. So now why Scout is an agentic AI? Because it has the perception, it has the planning and it has the actions, right? It noticed that the ball was gone and then it saw where it went. So it has the perception, it planned, right, that okay, if I have to get the ball, it decided how do you reach the ball, by avoiding the obstacle, by running different automation, by logging into different application. All of that is planning. And the third one is action, important one. It retrieved the ball and returned to you, waiting for your next instruction. That is why Scout is an example of agentic AI. Okay, so I hope till this point you have the basic understanding of what exactly is agentic AI, how it is different from RPA automation and what value it can bring, right? If that is the case, just comment understood basics. Okay, just comment down understood basics and I would understand that yes, you understood the basics. Okay, so next let's now jump to the formal definition of agentic AI and see what all it can do. Okay, if I go by the definition, agentic AI refers to the AI systems capable of autonomously perceiving the environment, planning the actions and executing tasks to achieve specific goals, all within the predefined boundaries, right? So I hope now this definition makes sense. Autonomously, which means without any intervention, perceives the environment, plans the actions, execute the task to reach to a specific goal. It can be anything within the predefined boundaries. Think of an agent as a smart program or a robot which is designed to do specific tasks by itself. It can make decision based on the rules which we give. It has learned the things which it has learned and it can interact with the people and the surrounding to achieve the goals, which means that agentic AI is not all autonomous. You always has an option to includes the human in the loop to reach the final goal, right? So this is the formal definition of agentic AI. One request for you guys is just go to Google and search what is agentic AI. You will get a lot of articles, you will get a lot of new definitions, read about it, and then because you have understood the background, you would be able to make sense of those articles, of those definitions. Okay, now Let me give you one more example, right? Imagine, right, you are coming back from school and you have a robot friend which is at home. It's a physical robot, right? The robot sees that okay, you are coming from the school, you are looking tired, and it understands that yes, you are coming from the school, you might be hungry and you might like snack, and it brings you an apple without even asking you, right? So what happened in this, right? You have an agent which was in your home. It understood the situation that yes, my friend or the human is coming. It understand that yes, it is, let's say, 2 p.m, you are coming from school and you might be hungry and you always prefer to have an apple. So it perceives and then it plans and then it acts, right? So noticing you is an perception. You might like the snack, that is the plan, and bringing an apple is an act, right? It actually acts. The second example could be, we all understand what is an alarm clock, right? So you have something which is called a smart alarm clock. Okay, think about a smart clock that knows that when usually you wake up. If it sees that you stayed awake late, maybe by just checking your bedroom light was on for a long, it decides you to let you sleep a bit and wakes up gently. It perceives your sleep patterns, understand at what time you go to bed, today you didn't go to bed, what time you usually sleep, what time you sleep on Friday, what time you get up on weekend. Without you actually setting up the alarms, it understand your sleep patterns, it understand your schedule, it understand your surrounding, and then it brings the alarm clock, right? So it perceives, it plans, and then it's act, right? This is the definition of agentic AI. Cool. So what's next? What about the features of agentic AI? There are a lot of features, right? So I want to talk about the 5 main characteristics of agentic AI. It's autonomous operation, goal oriented behavior, learning and evaluation, contextual understanding, and multi-domain utility, right? These words might look fancy, right? Let's try to go into them one by one, and I would be very quick by just giving you one example for each so that you understand what do I mean by the characteristics, right? So next time you have an agent, you are able to relate that yes, this is that characteristic of that agent. Okay, cool. So these are the 5 features of the agentic AI. The first one is autonomous operation, which means that the agent can work independently, right? I hope you guys are coming from the IT industry, so you know that you have the servers, right? So what happens is, as soon as a agent detect that the server is actually reaching its capacity, it triggers a job and it automatically provision the additional resources or spin up the load balancing something, right, without needing the system admin to actually come in, right? So autonomous operation, it's find out that okay, I am reaching this limit of this performance, or there is a server issue, there is a server is uptime, right? It manages that without even the server admin. The second feature, right, it's the goal oriented behavior. It is allowed to reach to a goal. Okay, so consider an AI driven software agent whose goal is to ensure that all the applications in the organizations are up to date, right? There is an agent whose job is to just make sure that everything is up to date, including Teams, Outlook, PDF, Acrobat, Zoom, UiPath. Any software which you are using has to be up to date. So what is the goal? The goal of the agent is to make sure that everything is up to date. You have an agent which just checks the dependencies, everything, wherever there is a low traffic, wherever the people are logging out, wherever the machine is idle for let's say 10 hours, 12 hours, it goes and it patches the system and makes sure that the systems are updated. Goal oriented behavior, right? Third characteristics, learning and evolution. Agents can learn and evolve by adapting the new information. It's not like that you have to pre-feed it, right? It learns from the conversation, it learns from the whatever you are providing as an input. An example of that which all of us can relate is the cybersecurity AI agent that monitors the traffic. Over a period of time, it understands that yes, these are the new kind of cyber attacks which are coming, and then accordingly it adapts to the algorithm to make sure that the threats are blocked. Example of learning and evolution. Fourth characteristics, contextual understanding. Okay, agents have contextual understanding so that they can make smart decisions. What do I mean by that? Agent that interprets user query in the IT system. If the employee says that, hey, my issue is in the email, or the employee just say I am facing an email server, or I am having issues in my email, the agent now understand the context, and it sees that whether your network connectivity is there, whether there are any even email patches going on, whether there is any server update happening, and it will try to troubleshoot the basic thing. If it is not, then it will escalate to the human person, right? So basically it understands the context based on the user request. And the last one is multi-domain utility, which simply means that agents have multi-domain utility, meaning they can work on various topics and areas. Simple example, a virtual IT assistant can handle the task such as ranging from network monitoring, system diagnostics, automating backups, to assisting users to the software issues. It seamlessly operate across different domains and make sure that the IT infrastructure is working effectively, right? So it's not like that one agent can do only this task, it can work on multi-domain utility, right? So these are the 5 characteristics of agent. Okay, I'll take a pause here. If you guys have any questions, post it on the comment and I'll try to answer that. If you understand it, just comment down maybe features of agentic AI, so that I understand that yes, people has reached till this point and everything is clear to you guys. Okay, and you are liking this content, make sure to subscribe to see the next videos in the series. Okay, so with all of this knowledge about agents, its characteristics, what it is, now it's time for a demo. Okay, so today I'm going to demo about something which is called UiPath Autopilot for everyone, where you can trigger automations from the chat, where you can do small tasks, and you guys would be able to relate some of the properties of agentic AI into UiPath Autopilot for everyone. It does not have everything which we have covered, but some of the properties you would be able to relate, right? And in the next videos of this series, I am going to teach you in a step-by-step manner how do you configure Autopilot for everyone, how do you get all this access, everything on your machine. Okay, so with that, let's go back to the demo now. Okay, so this is my UiPath assistant, right? So people who are coming from UiPath background, you understand this guy, that this is the UiPath assistant responsible for running the automations which you code, right? So now in the UiPath assistant, we have got this new product which is called Autopilot for everyone, and which can do the task and the automation on its own. I won't say automation, but some of the tasks and capabilities are there which you can relate to the agent, right? So some of the things which are available here are like this, right? So help me to write an email to a customer or schedule a meeting with the colleague, right? What's on my calendar today? Help me to plan a trip, right? So there might not be any automation which you as a human have written on behind this, but it understands the context and it gets the response for you. So for example, I just go here and I say write me an email to the customer, and now it's understand the context and it's asking you that what do you want to have. You want to have the customer role or it is the template, right? However, if I just go here and I say write an email to customer, and then I say asking them to subscribe to my channel, right? A little branding. Now it understand the context, right? It understand the requirement, and then it has given you a email template where it says that join our community, subscribe to the channel, dear valued customers, and all of this stuff, and with the signature as well, right? Now at the same time, it is also giving you some of the things as well, right? So this was one example. For the other example, I just go here and I drag and drop an invoice. Now if you see here, as soon as I drag and drop, it understands that you have an attachment, but you didn't give any instruction. This does not have any goal. So I am now giving it a goal to say that extract the total. Let's make a spelling mistake, right? There is no automation which I have written in the background to do this, right? If you are coming from a UiPath background, you would understand that when we have to do such kind of things, we need to use the PDF automation, we need to do some kind of document understanding, right? But here if you see, I have made a spelling mistake. Still it is able to understand my requirement, understand my context, and able to give me the information. Right now it says that what other information would you like to extract? These are some of the suggested prompt, right? What else? You can also ask it to give the data in tabular format. Okay, so now it's going back to the invoice. It has the context, everything it understands, and it has given you the data into the tabular format. Now if you see here, it says that I have extracted this information, and this gives you an option to send to clipboard AI or paste in the mapper. So clipboard AI is a new intelligent copy paste tool from UiPath, where let's say you have an other application, let's say SAP, or you have let's say any vendor application where you have to map this data. Autopilot would be actually able to copy paste this data into that application, because you are taking an action here where you say that send to clipboard AI. And as soon as I send it to clipboard AI, it will start the UiPath clipboard AI, where you can just point it to the other application and it will start putting the data into the other application as well. How cool is that, right? More power to this thing come in picture when you have actually automations which are built, where you have a lot of capabilities, lot of automations which are already built, and you are able to trigger that automation by just writing a prompt. So today, to run the automation, you use attended, unattended automations, right? For example, if you see here, I'll just go to the settings. I have an automation which is like sample process with error, right? So there is a sample process with having some error, right? And that's something I have given into this one, right? That is a sample process, right? Now I am a business user, I want to run that process, but I have a prompt. I can say that I want to run the error process, right? I just gave something. As a business user, I have just written my requirement. Now it understands that yes, you are trying to run that process which you have deployed, which says run the sample process with error, and you can just go here and run this, right? So I just provided my input, I just provided my statement in a natural language, it understands my context, and it is able to run the process. At any point of time it requires additional input, it is going to ask me the follow-up questions and all those stuff, right? Some characteristics of agentic AI you can find in UiPath Autopilot for everyone, right? So I hope the background of agentic AI is clear, and in case you are interested in this stuff, make sure you subscribe to the channel and make sure you click on the bell icon, because in the next video I am going to teach you how do you enable this, and in the upcoming videos we are going to see that how you can set up all of this step in a step-by-step manner, right? So with that, I would like to wrap this video here. Thank you for watching. Any more questions, any more doubts, let me know in the comments, or you can also drop me an email as well. Okay, I'll appreciate your feedback on the content, and with that, wrapping this video. Thank you for watching and happy automation.